Hello, everybody. Are you there?
We are here.
Wonderful.
I'm more important than them.
What I'm going to ask you to do is, if you are in the room, if you can put your cameras on, just so it's a bit more personable. That's okay. It doesn't matter what you look like. We all know it's 7:30. Not 7:30. I've just lit the fire, so I probably got all over the place. But if you can, that's bright. So much nicer to see you all. So Michelle. On,
Driving, so I don't want to put the camera on.
Where'd you get that from?
A bottle.
That's it. There's lots of chatting in the background. Just go on to mute. That's fine.
Sorry, Christine, my kids are being really loud and annoying.
Just pop yourself onto mute then, darling. I'm sure they're not annoying, really.
Aren't you?
We just literally, well, Maddie's on.
Maddie's being a donut.
Oh, just if they're being a donut, that's okay. You can just go on to mute. Mine are at football at the moment. Oh my goodness! Someone's just told me I was going to get a puppy before lockdown, and I said I'll wait till after lockdown. They've just told me that their dog's going to be expecting puppies, and they'll be ready for the 23rd of December.
Yeah! What breed?
Cockapoo.
Oh!
And I really shouldn't be doing it though.
Why?
You should.
Because it's another expense, isn't it? A dog.
Yeah, but they are the best expense.
They are.
I've got two.
I know.
And they are, honestly, they change your life. Totally.
Leave my life being changed.
No, but for the better. I mean, look at that little face. Buddy, come here. Who's that? Buddy. Good.
I know. We'll see. The Merle puppy, though, if there's a Merle, it's worth $3,000. And I've said I don't want it. I'd be too frightened that someone will pinch it. Right, they're all coming in now. Give it a bit of time. The call is being recorded, but if we can have your video cameras on, it would be nice, because
where my husband thinks it's 90 degrees.
But it just would be nice. It's always nice to speak to a person's face rather than.
Even though I'm driving.
Well, you don't have to. Just drive carefully. I'm not going to be held accountable for a car
crash, for God's sake.
But if there's
I'm not going to look. I'm going to listen.
All right. Well, Pauline, I was going to put you on to mute. Okay. So I don't want you to have a car accident. If you just want to mute yourself slightly, because there's a few more people coming on now, that would be great. Excellent. I hope she's coming. No, she has been texting me. She's been very busy today. Fabulous. Everyone had a good evening?
Yes.
So we've got chat. So during the call today, if there are questions that you've got, we will do questions at the end. Alex does have Alex, being Alex, has an appointment at 8:30, so it will be finished at 8:30 call, which is always good for everybody. So if you've got any questions as we are going through this evening, please do put it in the chat and use the chat, and I will be keeping an eye on it as well, because it will be really good to answer as many questions as we can as we go through. Be great.
Christine, guess what?
What?
I had to cancel Edinburgh.
Well, I know, because they've shut the pubs.
Don't laugh. It's not funny.
That's shit. That's really bad.
I'm in such a mood.
I was with Julie. Julie was with me. I sold my car today. And I said, oh, Nikki's not going to be happy. I did say that.
Fuming.
But I will be serious. I stayed at the Witchery in Edinburgh, and I left you a voice message. Honestly,
yeah, you did.
Have a look at the room. In fact, look it up online, the Witchery. Every room.
Yeah, I have, because we actually booked. I looked at it, and we actually booked a meal to go there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So I'm going to look for. Is Alex on here yet? No. Where is she then? Let me text her. But yeah, no, go. But yeah, you don't want to go when you can't drink. That's no good.
No.
You don't want to go anywhere. Now I've got to ask Alex that. Alex is here. A few more people jumping on. Now I think it is recording. Yes, hopefully. So, and I will try and work out a way, because I've been asked by a few other people to share the recording. So I will try. I'm not very good at all of that kind of stuff. But there you go. So I think, there she is, my lovely. There's Alex. So Alex is here. I've just explained, Alex, that you have got a 8:30 appointment. So
and I've just come straight off one as well. So apologies for being a couple of minutes late.
No, that's lovely. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear that you're really busy. I'm just saying, if you can, please put your cameras on. I know it's in the evening and we all look a bit sort of relaxed.
No one looks worse than me right now.
But it's just nice for people when they are doing a Zoom that we can see faces as well. So I'm going to crack straight on, because I'm very aware of Alex's time and everybody else's time that's on the call here. So firstly, Alex, thank you so much for agreeing to do a call for us, because
No problem, pleasure.
You are so busy. I'll just give a quick introduction. Alex is one of our newest senior group leaders within the company. Alex has smashed it. She's done it in 4 years, okay? Absolutely incredible speed. So it doesn't matter where you start or where you are in the business now. Why don't you just say, right, okay, I'm going to go for a senior group leader in the next 4 years, and make today a starting point and see whether you can smash it too. If I can ask, if you are talking, just to go on to mute, that would be really good, just for the sake of concentration. Now, you've been on 3 company holidays, Alex. You were in the top performing SGLs last month, even though you're just a new SGL there, which is fantastic. You've got nearly, I can't remember, I didn't write down how many personal customers you've got. You've got
160 odd, but I don't know. I don't really take much notice of that one, if I'm honest.
No, I mean, we speak every week. Alex and I have accountability every Monday morning, and you're all about team, aren't you, Alex?
We've never even mentioned that number, have we?
No, I don't think we have, which is why I don't know how many personal customers you've got, which is a bit strange. But I do know your group. I don't know whether you want to share your group.
Yeah, I'm happy. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your group numbers, Alex?
Just over 2,200 today.
In 4 years. So whoever's
nice reaction from someone.
I don't know.
Or was it a dog?
Yeah, that's the dog. So I'm going to mute Julie there. So as we go through tonight, I really want everybody's questions to be answered. Do please put your questions through in the chat. Now, Alex, I've watched you, and you came up on my radar quite early on. I'm very good friends with Jogger Shoker, who's obviously one of your uplines, and in one of our conversations, he told me to watch you, which I did. I find it fascinating. But I found it very easy to watch you, because one of the ways that you engage with people, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, is through social media. Mm-hmm. And we're all quite addicted to social media, whether you want to confess to it or not, I don't care, but I do believe most of us are addicted to see what's going on in social media, and which is why I found you incredible to follow. So what I want you to do is just explain to us how you've used social media to grow your business, because you're not a whammer, are you?
Well, I mean, I've done a few whams. In all honesty, I've done a few whams, a few newsletters, a few other bits, but really when I do those things, it's about me doing them so that I can prove to the team that they work. Once I've kind of like done it enough that I can work out the best way of doing it, then I can teach that to the team and I can say, I've done it, these are my results, blah, 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 blah. I suppose it's tricky. What I absolutely love about WHAMs, I mean, I know we're not really talking about that at the moment, but I just get such a kick from arranging a WHAM and seeing the whole thing being booked out by my team, because I've done it in the past and I've told them the results and I've taught them how to do it and I've got them booking them. And that's what I love about WHAMs, is actually not even taking a slot myself or taking a training slot with somebody so that, I have an opportunity to sort of show them on the job what to do. But that's just the amazing thing about WHAMs, is actually getting the team moving. And same with newsletters as well. I really just did it. I mean, I personally hated every second of it. I know that a lot of people love it, but it just wasn't for me. But I did it enough to be able to work out how to do it and how to get good results. And then I taught the team. I suppose the thing with social media is, and I think I said this on my panel at MAD, is that I actually don't see social media as being any different from, I call it social networking. It doesn't matter whether you're offline or online. It's the same thing. It's just a different medium to get that message across. So a lot of my strategy online is, how would I react in this situation? How would I have this conversation? How would I do this offline? Because offline's easy. We all know how to interact with people. But what I find crazy is that so many people do things online that they would never do offline. And I think that's where the problem comes. You don't go, I mean, maybe there's a few people that do, but most of us don't get dressed up in our branded clothing every single day and go about our lives in branded clothing, do we? We don't, if somebody says, I don't know, we don't just walk up to somebody in the school playground and start telling them that BT's putting their prices up, and so is Bulb, and, Virgin's had more customer complaints than any other utility company. We don't just walk up to people and start spouting these statistics at them. So why do we go onto social media and start writing that all over our posts? I mean, personally, I don't, but so many people do. And I just don't get it, because, Wes Linden talks about it being anti-social media if you take it too far. And so maybe I'm a little bit too far the other way, but I'm just so conscious of never doing anything online that I wouldn't do personally. And I think if you can keep that balance, you're pretty much going to get it right. So if you look at my feed, you were talking about looking at my feed earlier, you look at my feed, there is nothing on there about Utility Warehouse. I mean, genuinely, I think, you can test it. If you go onto my social media feed, I would say that you would not be able to work out what company I work for. The only reason that you might have a clue is because you are working in the business and you know what to look for. So if I say, I've just been given a mini by my company, you're going to know it's UW because you know UW gives a mini. But if you didn't know those sorts of things, you wouldn't know, because there's no purple, there's no branding. Apart from my hair, obviously, but there's no, there's no branding. There's no, the pictures that I have at events just look like they're an event. They don't have logos in the background. I don't post pictures of my bill with cashback. You just wouldn't know what it was about. And for me, that creates intrigue. So it's obvious that something's happening. It's obvious that something's working. It's obvious that there's people joining my team and that they're being successful as well. So it's not just me being successful. It's showing that I'm bringing other people into a situation and they're being successful as well. That is just, I just think it's obvious that there's something going on. So people then ask questions. I get messages probably every, a couple of weeks from people that I haven't even spoken to in 10, 15 years sometimes, who you realise have just been watching. And all of a sudden, the time's right for them to ask a question. They ask a question, and of course, it ends up in an appointment. Or I did have a situation actually at a WAM once. I think I was training somebody, and I just bumped into somebody that I think I met her at a baby group like 5 years ago. I didn't actually even realise we were friends on Facebook because I'd never seen anything from her. But she just she walked up to me at the WAM stand and she just went, "Oh, is this thing that you do?" And I was like, "Well, it depends. What do you mean, this thing?" And she said, "Well, that thing that's I don't know. You're always congratulating people. You're always I don't know. You just seem like you're always having fun. But it looked like it's some sort of work, but I can't really work out what it is. But it's this, is it?" I said, "Yeah, this is it." And then I booked an appointment with her and she became a customer. She thought about the team, but she didn't decide to do that in the end. But the point was that was such an easy appointment and such an easy daffy, because although she thought that day was the first time she'd ever heard of me, heard of what I did, she actually had the social proof for like 3 or 4 years of seeing that it was obviously working, even though she didn't know what it was. So even in real situations, what you've done on social can help you. But it can also help, I know we're going to go into the more specifics in a bit, but just having that, I suppose, some people call it lifestyle marketing. I'm a massive fan of that. Just, creating your brand online. But it doesn't, creating a brand is a story. It doesn't actually have to be branded. It doesn't have to be purple. It just has to be your thing, your story, what you're about. And you've got to stick to that when you're communicating, so, I'm probably going off on a bit of tangent here, but if it's Monday morning and it's peeing it down and you're going to work, many of us have normal jobs as well, and you're stuck in traffic, don't put a post on Facebook that says, "Oh crap, it's Monday morning again, I'm stuck in traffic and it's pissing it down and I feel rubbish," because you know, that's not conducive of your brand. That's not what we're trying to put out there, you know. And I'm not saying be fake, because I'm a massive hater of anything on Facebook that's fake, and I realize there's an awful lot of it. But in terms of our business, you know, we don't need to be fake, because this, I mean, I hope you all agree, this business is incredible enough. It doesn't need fabricating. It doesn't need embellishing, because what we get is amazing, and the choices that it gives us is amazing. So get that across, but without being conceited and without being fake. But personally, I wouldn't put negative stuff on there, because it just diminishes what you're trying to achieve. I don't even know if that answered the question. What was the question?
Well, I don't think you've answered loads of questions all in one answer, really, which is really good. I mean, I love the way, you know, that you say, you know, creating intrigue, and, you know, it's all about your brand, your lifestyle. You know, you don't put anything up. I've just flicked through. I've seen lots of mud packs, spa pools, hair stuff and all of that, but I actually haven't seen anything UW. Lots of UW people having fun, lots of alcohol, cocktails. So it's very fun. Sorry?
There's usually a bit of alcohol, yes.
So it is, and it looks fun. Your thing is very fun. Also, it's not political. That's another thing.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I don't see
Don't
any.
get involved in conversations where it's very heavily one-sided or the other. I mean, I've got my own opinions on COVID. I had my own opinions on Brexit. You know, it doesn't mean I can't have a conversation with somebody about it if I'm over a dinner table, but I'm not going to put my you know, my feelings online. Even so, I mean, but this goes back to what you're happy with online and offline. I never forget, a couple of years ago, both of my next door, there's a lovely old fella that lives in our road, and he's a massive Green Party supporter, and he just goes round all the houses, he knocks on the door and he just says, oh, can I put one of my banners in your front garden? And of course everyone's just like, oh, you're so cute, go on then. And I have to stop myself from saying that. Personally, I'm not a Green Party supporter, but that's irrelevant. The fact is that both my neighbours next door to me said yes to it, and they put it up on the inside of their house, so it actually looked like my house had a post on either corner, so it looked like it was me. And I had to go to my neighbours and just say, like, I'm so sorry, but would you mind just putting it on the other side of the fence, because it just makes it look like I've got a massive political aversion. And you know, there's a mini sat on the drive, and I just don't want people thinking that I'm kind of boxing myself in one way or the other, because I, you know, just want to stay fairly neutral. Like I say, it doesn't mean I can't have an opinion over a dinner table, but you don't want to alienate a certain section of people because they think you're one way or the other, or they think you've got a strong opinion, or get into some sort of argument online. It's just better to stay neutral. Now, the caveat I would say to that is that my opinion is based on using social media to further my business. I don't use social media for any other purpose. Now, if you have another job, if you love using social media for your own personal situation, then I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying this is what I do, because my only reason for being on social media, to be honest, if it wasn't for this business, I'd have come off a long time ago, because there's a lot of social media that I absolutely hate. And if it wasn't for furthering my business interests, then I wouldn't want to engage in any of it, to be honest. But the fact is, it's there, and there's an awful lot of people watching you. People are always watching you. You'd be amazed when you have conversations with people and they say, oh, I saw this, that and the other, and you think, blimey, I just thought that was a little post that no one was even ever going to notice. You know, I got 13 likes or something, and yet there's people that can relay it back to you months later because it meant something to them, or it resonated in some way. So yeah, sorry, I just go round in circles and tangents, and that's really functioning. And
that is the thing with social media, though, isn't it? People will look in and they'll read things in different ways, and they'll sort of like, you know, they'll interpret things in different ways. So it's best to stay neutral on. I mean, I've had some of the leaders and directors say, you'll never see anything political on my posts ever. I never put my political stance on my views or anything, and I have strong views on lots of things, trust me, but you'll never see it on Facebook.
Well, I think putting it in the right place as well. Like, I mean, you and I know, obviously, because we were in some of the SGL forums and groups and things like that, and even there, you know, I think to myself, okay, so our peers are SGLs, so the chances are they've kind of like they're solid and they know what they're doing and all this sort of stuff. But, you know, if I've got a massive gripe, I don't go on the SGL Facebook page and start moaning about it. I just take it to the director that I think is most appropriate to speak to, and I just say, look, this is my issue. Can anything be done? It doesn't need to be posted all over the groups, or even, you know, at lower levels in the UW forum. You know, we don't need to start moaning on it. I mean, it's probably more important on there, because if you start moaning on there, you don't know who's watching. Your team's on there, your brand new distributors who've only been in 5 minutes, and they just need to see some positivity. They need to kind of, you know, borrow your belief. And if they see you moaning about stuff, then they're, oh, great, you know, my upline doesn't even have any belief.
Oh, don't say that. I feel completely, I cried this afternoon. Actually, I sold my Mini today and I cried. But I sold it because it was, in fact, Julie picked me up from the garage, but because it was dying. And I am going to get my new car branded, although it's not a UW Mini, but I will be getting it quietly branded in a very sophisticated way, even though we're not allowed to, but there we go. But I'm very proud of the Mini. So, you know, if you're not, don't, oh, it is recorded, but no, Wayne does know I'm going to have my website on the back of the car. But you know, things like the Minis and being proud and all of that sort of thing in the car, you know, that's all great stuff if you do a rally when it all opens up again in the world. You know, I had lots of interest when we did the Mini rally once, where people going, oh my God, you know, where did you go and how much fun. So it is when people are following you. But what I'm going to ask you, so when somebody contacts you, and I know you're very good at LinkedIn as well, so maybe, which is another kind of side of, it's more of a business side of things, but if somebody was to say, you know, Alex, it looks absolutely fantastic, I just want to know what it is you do, what would you then, you know, what would you send me? Would you send me to a VOP? Would you send me a story? Would you send me a magazine? Would you, what we've got so many tools in our toolbox. What do you use?
I'd send you one sentence. It's a very tricky one to remember.
Right.
How soon can we jump on a 20-minute video call?
Right, write that down. How soon? No, I know she's going to say this because I've heard it to so many people. How soon? In fact, the first time you said that, and that was when we were talking about LinkedIn,
yeah,
it made me really quite nervous, because that's not how most of us are taught to do something. We just send people stuff, don't we?
I've never ever sent, and this might be wrong. Again, I'm very, you know, I'm a bit unusual in the way I do things. But then I suppose we're growing a quick team, so there must be something going right. But I've never sent my website to anybody, ever. I'm not saying I've never sent a link to a VOP, and I'm not saying I've never sent a UW story, because there are places for that. Because when you say, how soon can we jump on a video call, and someone says, I don't know, some crappy excuse about how they can't or whatever, then I've got those other things to fall back on. You know, they're great tools, and I mean, I think they have their place. They have an incredible place within our business. But usually, for me, that's a follow up. So I would show someone a UW story whilst I'm in an appointment with them. I would send somebody to a VOP. I did it today. We had it was a supported appointment actually. Very, very interested party, but not ready to sign up there and then. So my follow-up to that was invite him to the VOP tomorrow night, give him a bit more detail, completely, well, I always say it's unbiased, and then I feel like one day they're going to come on my one, and it's not unbiased, is it? But, you know, mostly it's unbiased, because they're people that have no vested interest in that person joining. And then I've arranged for the new partner to give them a call on Friday to find out what they thought, and then rebook an appointment with all of us to sign them up. So, you know, it's great for follow-up like that. And they're great for prospecting. So if somebody's already asked you, what's it all about, blah, 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 my go-to is always, how soon can we get on? It doesn't mean there's not a place for UW stories and things like that, or the VOP invites, if you're using it to prospect. So, you know, I mean, we do various challenges in our team, and one of the ones that we did was to send out UW stories. Each of the videos had to go to 5 different people that you knew in that sector, just saying, I think Steve Critchley originally came up with the idea of just sending them out and saying, look, my company's doing some, you know, has produced some new marketing videos. How soon could you just spend 2 minutes watching a video and giving me a little bit of feedback? And they obviously say, yeah, I can do it tonight. Brilliant. Okay, here's the video, and here's the 3 questions. What did you like best? Do you think that other fill in the blank, teachers, policemen, whatever, would respond to it? And do you know anybody that I might be able to help? You know, so using it as a standalone tactic, I think is absolutely brilliant. But using it or the VOP to respond to somebody when they actually ask, what's it all about? There's no urgency to that. UW stories maybe because they can watch it straight away, but certainly the VOP, you know, I wouldn't say, if you said to me, you know, what's it all about, I wouldn't say, well, in 48 hours time, jump on a 10-minute presentation and you'll find out. Because they'd be like, well, why are you telling me now? What are you like, what's going on? Like, was it dodgy? You know, so it kind of sounds like, and if you skirt around the issue and you don't actually want to tell them what it is, then it sounds like you're holding something back. So by saying, how soon can we jump on a 20-minute video call? How soon creates the urgency. So, you know, it makes it look like, yeah, you want to get on there. Surely they want to get on there. 20-minute video call doesn't sound like it's much. If you don't want to do a video call, obviously you can do a telephone call, but I just think having a video, you know, it's nice and easy to kind of build that rapport. And you know what, if you, I mean, you do this on Facebook, honestly, you'll get a lot of people saying, oh, I don't want to do a video call, I'm too scared. And I'm like, brilliant, at least we've got that one out of the way, because you're never going to want to do appointments if you can't do a video call. So so that doesn't bother me, you know, because it's about a numbers thing. You know, if somebody says they're not going to come on a video call, okay, next. You know, because there's just so many of them, and if they haven't got it, you know, I mean, God, if they can't come on a video call.
Okay, so
pouring blood out of a stone for the next 2 months.
Absolutely. Now, I love your energy and I love your positivity, and I love it's when can you, you're going to be enthusiastic. It's all as if, which I think is really important as well. You can tell you're excited and enthusiastic, and people buy that, don't they? You actually buy into your energy. But on this 20-minute video call, and we were talking about this today, what is it you do? What do you do?
This is a really tricky one as well, because you're going to have to relearn everything you've ever learned about Utility Warehouse, I'm afraid. I'm joking. Absolutely nothing different. There's no such thing as a recruitment appointment. There's no such thing as a customer appointment. It's an appointment with the ultimate gain of recruiting a partner and gathering a customer. And if you fail, you'll gather a customer.
So just to clarify that, and we've talked about this a few times, the appointment is the appointment presentation.
Appointment presentation. And then, of course, if you have the opportunity to go on and do a cost comparison, I never call it a quote, but if you can do a cost comparison afterwards, then great, because you've got much more chance of getting an actual customer. But, you know, realistically, if we're looking to, you know, get a partner excited. So you're going to have to show them what they're going to have to do. So I mean, to be honest, it's exactly the same as if I was doing a customer appointment. As you, I mean, I say I don't have customer or partner appointments, but in terms of what we're talking about, a normal customer appointment, you would go into saying, you know, you'd find out a little bit about them, because obviously if we know a bit about them.
Let's say you're prospecting me. So. Okay.
So I'd say, you know, so obviously lovely to meet Christine, or you've been referred by such and such, it's lovely of them to mention it to you, blah, blah, blah. So tell me a bit about you. How do you know that person? You know, what's your background? What do you do? Let's have a bit
well, Julie lives in the same town as me. We both like drinking Prosecco, and we like dogs, really. So we go walking, and yeah, we just have a bit more free time. And you know, she said she was doing this thing, and you know, and I need to talk to you.
Fantastic. Okay, well, just before I tell you what this thing is all about, let me just give you a bit of background on me, just so you know about me and sort of how I've come to this. And then I'll just talk a little bit about Theo and joining 4 years ago, and, you know, not wanting to go back to work and all that sort of stuff, you know, basically my why. And then I would just say, so that's me. So what I thought we'd do today, just the best thing really to show you about our company, is if I go through with you exactly what we would do if you were doing an appointment for one of your friends. So one of your friends or family is interested, I'm going to take you through exactly what you would be doing if you started working with us. Okay?
Fantastic.
Pull up the screen, purple screen, Utility Warehouse, you heard of us before, blah, 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 blah. And then go right to the end. And then obviously, I mean, I don't know if everybody does this, but I love asking the question at the end of the partner video and just saying, you know, just out of interest, how much money a month would make a difference to you? If it was coming into your bank account now from some sort of secondary income, side hustle, whatever you want to call it, how much money would it take to have a real impact on your life right now? Guarantee you everyone says £500. Until they see the scale. When they see the scale, it goes up.
Changes, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay.
But most of the time, people will say, you know, it depends. If somebody's actually out of work, then they might say 1,500, you know, whatever, 2,000, that sort of thing. But most people who are employed and have, you know, are just about doing okay will say around £500 a month make a difference. So I tend to say something funny like, you know, well, not that I'm that funny, but, you know, oh, well, that's a brilliant answer because that happens to be on my chart. Right, let me have a look. Let me show you this page. As you can see, simply by referring 2 people to Utility Warehouse per month, that's an extra £500 in your pocket. What do you think about that? And then don't speak. He who speaks first loses.
Yes, whoever said that. How to win friends and influence people. Don't speak. Yeah.
So just wait, you know, because they're you know, don't. I think one of the biggest problems with that slide is that we feel like we've got to fill the silence. So, you know, it's like, and then if you do more, you can get even more. And look what happens if you do 4 in a month. And then there's holidays and there's hampers and there's Christmas dinners and there's minis and there's other cars. And then you can get promoted and you get more percentage and then you get residual income. And it's amazing. And before you know it, the person's just sat there going, sorry.
Yeah.
Look, they just need £500 a month to make their life better. To just show them how they can have it. If you get a conversation out of them, then you can start talking about some of the other things if it's appropriate. But do you know what? Most of the time when I recruit people, we haven't even talked about holidays. We haven't even talked about the car. We've maybe touched a bit on residual income, but most of it is just about how much money am I going to earn now? You know, if somebody tells you that they're minted at the moment, but they're really worried about their pension, then maybe you're going to talk about residual a bit more, you know, because you're going to hopefully draw that out a little bit in the appointment. But you know, most of the time, especially now, people need quick income, which is exactly what we have.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So is anybody a little bit shocked? Because I know that when I started venturing on the LinkedIn ground, which was very professional people, I had a word with Alex, and Alex says, that's what I do. I send them the, you know, we go through the presentation on Zoom, and I was like, and I was having people that used to have big jobs, you know, with like 6-figure incomes, and I was showing them the presentation. I thought, this is crazy. But you know, every single one of them looked through the whole presentation and then would either say yes or no, and actually they knew exactly what we did and what to do. So I thought, okay, it seems so simple, and yet it works. So you do the same with professional people as
absolutely. Well? I think the thing with LinkedIn, though, I think you kind of have to know your audience. You have to realise who you're talking to. You know, Facebook is very, very different. It is, you know, most of the people looking for, depending where you find them, they're often, you know, dare I say it, the ex-Jeremy Kyle watchers. You know, so you get a lot of that sort of stuff. So you got to talk to them a little bit differently, maybe. And obviously, when you're on LinkedIn, the chances are they're professionals. They might be career people. But I think you've also got to appreciate what they're looking for on LinkedIn. Okay. Let's take an example of Wes Linden. Okay, we all know who Wes Linden is now. Wes probably earns 4 times as much as some of these big global executives on LinkedIn. Okay, but they're never going to go for this as a career solution, because they want a company car now. They want a massive bonus now. They're sending their children to private school. They are socializing in circles with people who have status, okay? When they join this business, if they join this business, they're not going to have any status. They're not going to have a company car. They're not going to have massive bonuses, because we all know that we've got to work up to that. So we know and we believe that those things are possible in the future, but a massive executive is not going to look at business as a career opportunity. It's just not possible. And if you go into LinkedIn thinking that you're going to recruit a load of executives who are going to want to join your team and smash it from day one and start earning this and earning that and getting the cars, it's just not going to happen. So stay away from trying to do that, because you're just going to make yourself look silly. But what we have is an incredible opportunity to earn a decent full-time income for a few months. Okay, because those people who are sending their children to private school and have got huge car payments and huge mortgage payments, they need money now. And they're worried because they're having to use credit, they're having to dip into savings. You know, there's probably, I don't know, you know, there's probably men and women, but I can imagine there's a lot of men out there who are traditionally the breadwinners in their family who are losing sleep at night. They feel sick every day because they just don't know how they're going to actually uphold that status, uphold that money over the next few months if they've been made redundant. So what we have to offer them is an amazing opportunity to bridge that gap for now. So just go down that route. You know, when you're prospecting people, don't say to them that you've got the most amazing business opportunity that's going to change their life. Tell them you've got a way that they can earn a decent full-time income for the next few months whilst they're looking for their next job, to give them the luxury of time to find the right job, not just the first job. You see, if they go and take the first job that comes along, that probably means they're going to be working so hard that they haven't even got time to interview for, you know, other positions or apply for other positions or anything like that. So let's just give them the solution that they need right now. And in the main, I would say most people on LinkedIn are just looking for a stopgap, unless it's the right job for them. And this will not be seen as the right job for the majority of people looking on LinkedIn. Yes, of course, you'll find a few that happen to say, you know, they'll have the gems they put on their profile. I want to work from home. You know, I want to be flexible around my children. Bingo. Talk to them about utility warehouse in the way that you normally would. But for most of them, that's just not what they're looking for. And I think if we try and pretend that we've got the answer to all their prayers, then the moment you get them on the presentation, they're just going to be, oh God, this network marketing. Oh God, I thought it was a salary. You know, tell them, be honest. You know, and then what will happen, funnily enough, is you'll get a few of them. In fact, this is exactly, I'm just, we talk about obviously the girls and the guys in my team and what we're trying to do. So you know that we recruited somebody from LinkedIn less than 4 weeks ago called Cavill. She is, as of today, I think she's got 17 group, 10 personal in 4 weeks, and 17 group with 3 partners, and 2 of them haven't even started yet. So we're literally just starting them off this week. So we could have an FTL in, I don't know, 6-8 weeks maybe. And she was exactly that person. She was looking for her next big job in travel. And she's come in and she smashed it in 4 weeks. And we're starting to have conversations now. I'm not pressuring her. I'm not saying anything. I'm just helping her get started, right? She's just come out of her supported phase now. And she keeps saying to me, I don't know if I'm going to keep looking for a job because I quite like this. And I'm like, great, you know, because she's enjoying the fruits of utility warehouse. And if it keeps going like this, what's the point? Why ever bother going back to work? You know, or you'll find other people want to go and take another job, but they're going to bubble along with this in the background. You know, if the same sort of thing happens again and they lose their job again, they'll always have it to fall back on. People will want different things from this business, as we always know, because that's always the case. But I think, yeah, it's just be careful. Just because we believe that this could be the answer to all of our prayers, just remember what it's like when you knew nothing about this business. You had no belief in it. You had no knowledge of the company, no idea of how it worked. If somebody told you that this was going to change your life, you'd be like, oh, shut up, as if. You know, so you've got to remember that you don't know that when you're not on this side. You know, when you're on the other side of the fence, you don't know that. So don't tell people that it's going to be that, because you'll just put them off and they won't believe you, or it won't be right for them.
Brilliant. And so that I love that. You know, I put it as a stopgap. I often say to people it could be a bit of a stopgap while you're trying to find what it is that you're looking for at the moment. What would your response be, Alex, if someone said, oh no, not network marketing? What would your response be?
Well, they wouldn't say that to me on message, because I wouldn't have told them that it was. So that would be something that they might say in person, but then the point at which they would actually say that and realize that would probably be after we've done the money, because that's the first sort of time really you get into the crux of that. Because let's face it, the first 10 minutes of the 12-minute presentation, you're talking about the customer proposition. So they're interested in, I mean, you know, very few people that you show that presentation to actually go, well, I think that's a rubbish idea. You know, that might not be for them, but nobody sits there and says, well, it's crap, do they? Because it's a really good idea, the main. So they're going to watch it, understand the customer proposition, right? Okay. And then you tell them about how it works with the partner side of things, which, to be fair, to start with, I mean, we don't even really talk about like downline residual or anything like that when we're actually pitching it to people. So if somebody picked up that it was network marketing, I mean, I would probably, it's a bit like when somebody says, well, it sounds like a pyramid scheme. My response to that is, what do you mean by that? So what do you mean by network marketing? What do you mean by a pyramid scheme? Because you've got to find out what it is that they're talking about that they think is negative. So you know, I wouldn't be sarcastic when I was talking to somebody, but if they say to me, well, network marketing is obviously like where you bring other people in and they get stuff and then you make money on it. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a really bad thing, like other people doing work and me getting money. Like, what's not to like about that, you know? So I wouldn't be sarcastic about it, but at the same time, you've got to have a little bit of like, what, just tell me what is actually wrong with that right now. You know, the same with the pyramid scheme. You know, people say, oh, you know, it's like I don't know, everybody at the top makes all the money. I'm like, well, that's not actually the case, because I've just shown you in front of you, you can see the kind of money that you can make in the first week. So, you know, everybody in our business has the same opportunity to earn. Okay, the more time you've been in, the more chance you've got of getting group numbers and group residual and all that sort of stuff. But none of it is actually negative. And I think the problem is, you know, the media, other people, other network marketing businesses give us a bad name because there's elements about it that people don't like. So if you ask them, what do you mean by network marketing? They'll probably pick something out that actually isn't relevant to our business. So then you can respond by saying, well, that's really interesting that you say that, because actually in Utility Warehouse, that's not the case. It's not how it works. How it works is blah, 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 blah. So you can kind of, I think if you just take that sweeping statement of network marketing or pyramid scheme or whatever it is, or cult. I love the one when they say, oh gosh, it sounds like a cult. I'm saying, what, you mean everybody trying to get to the same goal and being really happy about it? Like, what's not to love about that? You know, you've got to take the element of what it is that they don't like about that thing out and address the individual thing. Otherwise you find yourself coming back at it, at the whole thing. And it's probably not even the bit that they don't like anyway. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, just what oozes out is, you know, what we talk about is the passion, the belief. You think it's absolutely great, you know, and it's what goes all the way through your, you know, all the way through your Facebook. It's fun, you know, zest for life, you know, all of that sort of thing. It's very contagious. I would join all over again, Alex. I'm talking to you tonight. I'm like, I'm in. I'm joining this game. You know, because, and it's true, you know, what is there not to like? And I think it's posture that you're bringing across as well.
Yeah, and I know that comes with time, but you know what, if you haven't got it yourself, then just look at other people who have and take it from them.
Absolutely. I mean, when I started, it was Jimmy Chapman in the day, and he would have the posture and the belief, and I'd think, right, okay, I'm going to nick his posture and his belief. And, you know, even when I didn't have it. So, you know, we've all done it. We've all nicked other people's belief at the beginning and thought, right, okay, it must work because they're riding high and they're enjoying the ride. I'm joining. So, which is really good. But what I love, what you share with us, is the fact that your main thing is that you actually want to grab 20 minutes and you want to show them the presentation. That's your kind of goal, isn't it?
Because this is, you know, people buy from people. It's said all the time. It's our enthusiasm. It's our passion for the business. It's what it's done for us. It's our story that's going to sell it to other people. You know, you can tell somebody else till they're blue in the face that they should do this. In actual fact, I never even go down that route at all. All I ever do is say, this is what I do. This is how it's changed things for me. This is my life now as a result of it. And this is what we do. I never once say to them, oh my God, you should totally look at what I do because it's amazing and you'd be brilliant at it and you'd smash it and this, that and the other. You'd earn so much money, blah, 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 blah. I simply tell them what it's done for me because that is so much more powerful. And you know what? People end up having this kind of feeling like they've stumbled across your secret. But if you make out like you tell everybody, then it kind of takes the edge off it a little bit. They want to think that because they've had the balls to ask you what it is and that ask you the questions about what you're doing, that they're the ones that are being let into your little secret, your little world. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. I would like, yeah, I think that's a great angle that you'll put there. Actually, it's a nice way, you know, that you've created the intrigue. They've plucked up the courage to say, what is it you're doing? And then you're telling them rather than you're telling the whole world and just spamming your Facebook, which is exactly, that's really nice. But let's go one step further. I don't know whether everybody does, but where we live, you have you know, various for looking for jobs, working sites, you know, Crawley jobs or whatever, things like that. Do you ever look there and when you see people that might be looking for something, do you ever contact them?
Yeah, definitely. And before I forget, I'll add a couple of other things in there as well. So we were talking earlier about the long game versus the quick wins on social media. We all want quick wins at the moment, and I get that. Majority of what we do in our team on social media is very much the longer game. But certainly looking at things like job pages, looking at things like, I mean, even local residents groups who aren't necessarily looking for jobs, you've always got people on there saying, oh, you know, does anyone know of any work, blah, 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 blah. But you've also got interesting ones at the moment in particular. Search for something on Facebook like IVAs, for example. So if you don't know, I mean, I don't actually even know what it stands for, I don't know, but you know, it's one of those things that you get if you can't pay for stuff. You know, like it's like half going bankrupt. It's not going bankrupt, but it's like something.
Yeah,
you know, that sort of thing. As you can see, I'm not particularly intelligent or even newsworthy. I just
someone might put in the chat what an IVA is.
Yeah, put somebody Google it. An individual, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, it'll be
Monetary arrangement.
That's the one. See, I knew there'd be somebody there. But it's the sort of thing that you do when you think you want to go bankrupt, but you don't want to do that because you can't get a mortgage and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, there's loads of forums, there's loads of chats, there's adverts. People put like the IVA companies put adverts up, and then there's like a million comments underneath going, info please, you know, I can't feed my children this week, info please, blah 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 blah. And then you just message them. There's people upset over you know, not getting government grants because they've been furloughed, and it's just, there's so many people being upset about different things. So don't just think about jobs, think about the things that people might be talking about online, and search them, and you'll find forums, chats. Don't just stick to Facebook. You know, Gumtree has loads of stuff on there. Have a look at people. I mean, you know, just be clever about it. Go onto Facebook sales, whatever you call it, in your area. Who's just selling loads of crap out of their house? You know, buy something from somebody. Go around and pick it up on your door. Who is what?
Julie, she's moving. In fact, Julie, you can unmute yourself. Julie's fairly new. What did you say? You got to unmute yourself. What did you say to the guy or the girl, wasn't it, today, when she came to pick up your Connects or whatever?
Yeah, so I was selling some Connects, some of my old boys' kids' toys, and she turned up, and I can't remember who it was,
Big Al.
Christine.
Big Al.
I used his word, you have electricity, don't you? She said yes. I said, would you like to pay less for that? She said, oh yes. And it went from there. She's about to move house. She's after a bigger house. So we're going to be in touch in the next month or two for an appointment.
Perfect. You see, and you can do that when you're selling stuff and when they're selling stuff. In particular, if they're selling stuff, if you see somebody selling loads of stuff that looks like the sort of stuff that people might actually need, ask yourself, why are they selling so much stuff right now? Everybody's taking to the sales pages to sell stuff because they need money. My last recruit actually was somebody who put on Facebook that they were. Do any of my friends want to fill out a survey? I think you get a couple of quid for it or something, filling out this survey online. And I just thought, blimey, he's either got loads of time on his hands or he really needs the money to do a survey for 2 quid. And so I just popped him a message. I just said, you know, I mean, I had a rough idea as to how we knew each other from like 10 years ago, but I just sort of made it look like maybe we were closer than perhaps we were. Because if you're that confident with it, if the person doesn't remember, they're kind of like, I must know this person because they're being really friendly. And I just said, look, if you've got time to jump on a 20-minute, actually, no, do you know what? I didn't say that because I would have said that, but I actually said, you know, I started a business about, I don't know, a few years ago, I probably said, and I'm so glad that I did, because actually now this has all happened. It's a business that's still continuing to flourish. So, you know, I'm actually okay. But I noticed your post earlier, and I did wonder whether it might mean that you're struggling a little bit for income at the moment because your job is something that can't be done. It's an events job, you know, so there's no events work at the moment. So, you know, I just wondered if you would be interested in finding out a bit more. And if he'd said he was interested, I'd have come back with, how soon can we jump on a video call? But his response was, when can we have a video call?
Oh, wow.
It doesn't always happen like that. Obviously, that's quite rare. But, you know, just by seeing something that some old connection of mine had, and he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And he's just taken to it like a duck to water. And he's a lovely guy and he really deserves it, you know, and he's had a really rubbish time with being self-employed. You know, so just look at, you know, that wasn't somebody saying, I need work. But just think, read people's posts. What is behind that post? You know, and is it something that I quite like I mean, we haven't even touched the sides really of what I tend to do normally in terms of the long game, but a big part of that is creating relationships where maybe there was an acquaintance before, but actually creating a relationship on Facebook or any kind of social media that could potentially lead to a conversation when the time is right, or that, you know, if you start having a conversation with somebody over a number of weeks, months, years, etc., in the end something's going to crop up that's going to make you want to respond to it in a certain way that could lead to an appointment. You know, and this has happened to me so many times. I mean, two of my best recruits ever actually came through doing that. You know, I reconnected with my best friend from uni 10 years after the last time we spoke. And it was 2 years of getting to know each other again, play dates. You know, she lives near you, so, you know, it's like an hour and a half's drive to get to her house, but I took Theo up there. We had a nice day up there. She came down and brought her kids down to the seaside, and we probably did this about 10 times before it was ever appropriate to even mention utility warehouse. And so it is a very long game sometimes, but connecting with people like that, you just never know what's going to come of those conversations. So if you know, I'd say to the team sometimes, and, you know, give yourself a target of 5 new connections a day, and they can be reconnections or brand new connections, but just talk to people because you never know where that conversation might lead. I don't really know how I got onto that bit, but
no, it's fascinating, and that's what, and Facebook is a little bit like that as well. You'll click onto one thing which will lead you to somewhere else, that will go to somewhere else, that will go to somewhere else, and before you know it, you're looking at someone's holiday photos that you don't even know.
My brain's not very structured.
But the thing is, but that is social media for you though, isn't it? It's social, and being social isn't necessarily a structure, is it? And if you come across like a wolf and you're going there for the jugular every single time, it's not social media, and it's not building your own brand either. You'll be the person that everyone deletes or unfollows, and that's not what you want.
It's so true, honestly. You know, even if you take it back to the bare bones of sales, and I suppose because my background really is in kind of marketing and business growth and things like that, you take it back to that, you know, there's always the 80-20 rule. Even if you're selling something, you know, it is 80% interesting content, 20% direct selling. You know, and even though the 20% that I do that's direct selling on my page is very, very indirect selling actually, because people don't even know they're being sold to, because it's just messages that are going out that are about my business but are not about my business at the same time. So but 80% of what I put on Facebook is not UW related. You know, it's I'm spending time with friends, I'm doing stuff with Theo, but you've got to think about what's behind it. You know, what's behind those posts. Is it you know, if I'm having fun with Theo at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, I don't stick on Facebook, you know, I'm so lucky that I don't have to, you know, commute to work. I get to sit here with my son at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning while all my friends are slogging their guts out in hot, sticky offices. I don't have to say all that. I can just put a picture of me and Theo in a park and post it at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. Because I don't have to say all of those things, because it will come out. You know, in the end, when people look at my feed and think, blimey, does she ever actually do any work? You know, I've had people say to me before, what is going on in your life? You're never at home, you're always on holiday, and you never do any bloody work. Like, what do you do? What do you do? Have you got some rich husband, like, I don't know, a cupboard or something? And I'm like, what makes you think it's actually anything to do with him? You know, but this is the thing, people, but that's kind of how it should be, is that people should have an idea that you're doing something and be amazed at the things that you're achieving and managing to do, but have no idea how it's all. Sorry, I think I'm kind of going back on myself.
No, it's creating curiosity, isn't it? I mean, often when I go for a run, I will often post my run, and I'll always try and do it after 9 o'clock, so that when the post people
just be clever about it. You don't have to be blatant, and you don't have to be fake. That's, you know, my biggest issue with any kind of social stuff is, I know I've already said it on the call, but it's so important. I'm going to say it twice. You know, our business is incredible, and if we just tell the truth, that is what will make people sit up and listen, because it's the integrity that we have, you know. And there is such a fine line at the moment. I mean, I had a big issue. Everybody is different, but I personally had a big issue. We'd just gone into lockdown. People had just started hearing about, you you know, potential furlough and potential job losses and that sort of thing. And right at that time, we just had Express Day, and the new holiday destinations had come out. And of course, oh my God, so exciting. I've always wanted to go to the Maldives. I was like, that's where I'm going. We're doing this, blah, 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 blah. I kept it to myself. You know, I told my family that that's where we were going and that's what we were going to be going for. But a lot of people in the business put up posts about, you know, my company's just told me that I can go to one of these 3 destinations for free next year. Which one would you pick? You know, and you've got all these people sitting out there going, well, clearly I've got no option of doing that because I'm about to lose my job, or all my holidays have been cancelled this year. So, you know, great for you. You know, that just turns people off. You know, we because we love it and we think it's amazing, we put it on Facebook thinking everyone's going to go, oh my God, how do I get the free holiday? Please tell me now. But people don't feel like that because it's conceited. And people actually feel completely turned off to it because they're like, oh, well, stuff you, you know, you've obviously got no compassion for my situation. I mean, even to the point where the first thing I did when we went into lockdown is bought a hot tub. Now, for me, and like a real proper hot tub. Now, for me, that was a life goal. Right? I've always wanted a hot tub, a real hot tub, and it looked so pretty and it was so amazing. And Theo loved it. And me being a bit of a show off, I wanted to stick pictures all over Facebook. I wanted to say, look at what this business has done for me, because I am now a person who can buy a hot tub outright without any finance. Look at me. That's what I wanted because I'm an attention-seeking person. But I didn't put anything about that hot tub on until we'd come way out of lockdown and things had started to settle a bit more, because I just thought, you know, that is a bit crappy for people who are losing their jobs, for me to just go, look at me, isn't life wonderful? So I think you just have to, even when things are real, you just have to be a little bit considerate about, think about what you would think if you were the other person. Would it make you want to contact that person and say, oh my God, tell me how I can be a hot tub owner? Or would it make you think, I'm not going to swear, but the second word's you. Do you know what I mean? That's probably what you would think. So don't be that person that just, you know, just think about the impact that you're going to have from your post beforehand. And, you know, and if you've got, like, so obviously a lot of these people are in your, a lot of people on the call are in your team. You know, if you're unsure, if you think you've got a post that's quite good and you want to get it out there, but you're just a little bit like unsure, just send it over to Christine, send it to whoever your upline, somebody that you admire on Facebook, send it to them and say, would you post this? You know, what would you say? And a lot of the people in my team, the first few times they start doing this, they send it over to me. And then there's a bit of a joke, you know, because then they don't have to send it to me anymore, but they're like, what would Alex do? What would Alex say? And it's funny because actually they know the answer to it before they've even sent it to me now, because, you know, it's been drummed in. But I used to do the same. I used to think about what would Wes do, because I always loved, you know, Wes's way of doing things on Facebook. So I used to think to myself, if Wes saw this post, would I be embarrassed or would I be pleased? And that was my filter. You know, now obviously I've worked it out for myself and other people are asking me the same thing. But, you know, just think about what you're saying and who's reading it and what their reaction might be and what you would think if that was someone else and you didn't know anything about this business. I think we always have to just be wary of the fact that we know so much about this business. So, you know, you got to remember other people don't.
And also moving swiftly on, absolutely. I firmly agree with that. I did put the odd hot tub post up, I must confess, but it wasn't a brand new fixed, really expensive £1,000 hot tub. It was my easy spa.
And I'm not going on. I'm not like, oh, look at me.
No. But
I'm just, you know, and yeah, I'm also not saying that anybody that put pictures of a hot tub up over the summer is wrong. I'm just saying that was my
fun photos.
That was my thought process. And you know what, actually the first time, I mean, maybe I do overthink this a bit too much, but the first time I put a picture of my hot tub up wasn't a look at me. It was actually a like a review for so we've got a local company, a local restaurant that we go to a lot, and because nobody could go to their restaurant in lockdown, and not in lockdown, because obviously
it wasn't a takeaway cocktail.
They started doing cocktail delivery. So I rang them up and I was like, obviously they know who we are because we spend a lot of money with them, but I was like, okay, how do you fancy like bringing us loads of cocktails, but actually like walking them around the side of the house and delivering them to our hot tub in the back garden? They were like, yeah, brilliant idea. So they did that, and I just thought it was a brilliant opportunity to take a picture, but actually to review them. So it wasn't really about the hot tub, but okay, it was kind of in the picture, and then I'm like, okay, I've introduced the world to the fact I have a hot tub, so now I can do some stuff with it. But it wasn't look at me in my nice new hot tub, you know. And so many people said to me, actually, oh, I didn't realise you had a hot tub. How long have you had that for? You know, like expecting me to say years. And I think it's just the fact that people didn't think that I'd bought it in lockdown, I think was probably, I don't know, I'm probably going on, but I don't know if you've guessed, it's like my favourite thing in the world, so I talk about it.
Yes, and they are good. So you're allowed to think that, and well done. But it's being sensitive where people are at the moment, and people are hurting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what brings me lastly for the last few minutes about edifying other people more than yourself. So recently we had Laura, who's on the call here, who I did a little post about her. She's just qualified for the hamper. You kind of know about Laura. She's going to wave, putting a thumb up in the air there. We talk about you, Laura, in the nicest way. And you know, I said about the hamper, the fact that she works as a barber, the fact that she's a single mum of 4 children, how well she's done, rather than saying, oh, look at me, I'm really good, blah 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 blah, I've qualified for the Maldives. It's better to do a third party.
Definitely.
So you are going to be doing stuff on your Facebook, and you're really good at that as well, with lots of your photos.
So if you want to say stuff about something, ring your upline and say, can you do a post about me doing this, because I'm really proud that I've just done this. Can you just do a post for me? Because it's much better if it comes from somebody else, if it's about you. But equally for you want to be doing that for other people. And if you haven't got people in your team, then, you know, there's plenty of people around you that are achieving stuff. There's nothing to say that you can't say, I'm so pleased for my friend in the business, blah 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 blah, just got, you know, their free car or whatever it is. So yeah, third party endorsement all the way. Never ever ever say anything about yourself, not even I've qualified for a holiday. Take pictures of yourself when you're on the holiday and say, you know, can't ever thank my company enough for sending us on this amazing holiday, but not, look at me, aren't I amazing, I've just qualified for this, it's so exciting. You know, but be clever about it, you know, because when I qualified for Disney, I recorded my son. I just recorded my son, and I just said to him, we're going to go meet Mickey Mouse in the summer, and I just videoed his reaction. So then I put that on Facebook, saying, you know, something like, I don't know what I wrote, but just like, you know, it's the little things or something like that, which just alludes to the fact that we're going. It doesn't say, oh, I've qualified for this, blah, 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 blah. It's just, there's the beginning of the story. And then the middle of the story is the fact that, you know, we're on the plane and we're excited and this is happening, and I'm with hundreds of other people from my company. You know, still not saying, look at me, I've achieved this, blah, 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 blah. It's just the little bits of the story that people who are watching are going to piece together. And it might take them months, it might take them years, but it's okay, because 4 years later, I'm still in the business and I'm still recruiting people. So if somebody has been watching for a few years, then now's the time they're going to start asking, because now all of a sudden the timing is right for them, you know,
So when I pick up my new car tomorrow, can I send you a picture of me and my new car? You can post it on Friday, so you're so proud of me.
As long as you've prospected the salesman, you can.
Julie.
Already done that.
Oh, James is looking at my website. Bless
And
him.
when I say prospected the salesman,
No.
Yeah, with business.
UW only.
UW only, but he was a very nice guy, and we told him how great he'd be in our business. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's chit chat. You know, he came out, he was running 40 minutes late. I was a bit pissed off when I got there because Julie was coming up to pick me up. But I smiled, and we had banter going, and by the end of it, he had my business card, he knew what we did, he upped the price that I should have got for the car, you know, and he then turned around and said the woman behind us was really miserable and he was going to go and have a cigarette first before he saw her. It's all the way you treat people, isn't it? You make them feel good, make them feel special. I found out the hours he worked, how much he worked, all of that stuff. It's being genuinely interested, and it paid because he gave me more money than I anticipated for the car.
Well, there we go, you see.
But it's all
buttering up always works.
Absolutely, but it is. So probably the thing for social media then, rounding it up, as I know you have an appointment. So firstly, Alex, thank you so much. I think this has been so valuable. It's been absolute, and just your energy actually.
And I'm glad that you say that about the energy, because I do feel I'm absolutely shattered. I've done an appointment every hour today, apart from the hour that I took off to start trying to run I'm doing some stupid challenge to run 100k in October, and
yeah. So support Alex on that.
Yeah, go on my Facebook, you can sponsor me. But you know, I'm absolutely shattered tonight, so I do apologise but it's nice that you've said it comes across energetic. But,
oh, fabulous! I love your energy.
Love life, so there we go.
So, but thank you very much, Alex, for that. I know that you've got to go off onto an appointment. I don't know whether she's gone or maybe she
No,
has.
I'm here. I'm here. I have an 8:30 and a 9:30 tonight. So
Oh, God, that's just
I
rubbing
won't
it
be
in,
going to
isn't it?
sleep anytime soon.
Rubbing it in. So thank you for your, if you've got to go off, that's fine. But probably mindful is another thing for social media, probably wrapping it up, energetic, being mindful of what you're posting. People might be losing their jobs. Don't rub people's faces in what you've got. Be genuinely interested. Like James, our car man today, I was a bit pissed off, but I was still genuinely interested in, you know, be genuine, be nice, but don't be the kind of person that you want to unfollow. Have you unfollowed anybody recently? Don't be that person, you know, with political statements and things. That Abby's putting her hand up there. Yeah, she's unfollowed people, you know. Don't be the person that you're, be the person that you're the one that go, oh, I'm going to quickly flick through all these photographs. Be that person, and use your social media, you know, in a social way. And if anybody wants any help or whatever, or need to look at any posts, I'll be more than happy to, because I'm very nosy and I'll nick your ideas. But thank you very much, Alex. I hope it's been a pleasure for you all.
Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you. So thank you very much for inviting me, and good luck, everybody. See you online.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. I'll end the call now. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.